Okay. I thought in the first half, we didn't do. First of all, you got to give them credit. Jamal Mosley and the rest of Orlando Magic, they kicked our ass. It's as simple as that. They came out with a physical presence that we didn't handle well. We talked about them getting to the free throw line. They've done a really, really good job at it. They've been averaging around 34 free throws a game, and they basically hit their average. On top of that, against a good team, you have to win the possession game in order to give yourself a chance to win the game. And we got our ass kicked in that, 30-19. Basically, that's about free throw attempts plus offensive rebounds minus turnovers. So give those guys a lot of credit. Now, we were a little better in those areas in the second half, but when you dig a hole like we did in the first half, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to come back and win the game. But there are a lot of things that, for me, watching the game, were first time for us. One of them is we had 10 offensive rebounds. Now, again, you got to give Orlando a lot of credit because they were really good on the glass, but just watching the game or thinking back on the game, we didn't crash. We didn't crash. Shot went up, and everybody just watched and then jogged back. And even though we watched and jogged back, they still, based on the way that we charted, they still scored 33 fast break points against us for the game. So we didn't crash. We had 10 offensive rebounds, nor did we get back in transition. We also had 11 sprays for the game. That's a season low. 11 sprays. And we have to be better in that area. But the thing that I was most disappointed in was in the first half, everything that happened on the court, we blamed the officials. And that was disappointing to see because we were the culprits of a lot of stuff that happened out on the floor. 6 of their first 8 points came from the free throw line, and we fouled them. I couldn't even use a challenge because we were fouling. And if one of our keys is to play physical without fouling, but the first 6 points or first 3 or 4 possessions that they have start at the free throw line, then we're not giving ourselves a chance and we're letting them feel comfortable with the way that they play. So take my hat off to Mosley, Jamal Mosley, and the rest of his staff and their team because they came in and they took the game from us, starting with their physicality.
Like we saw Jalen at the end of the game, he walked off about 2 minutes to go. It seemed like he was limping a little bit. Do you know anything about that or his ankle?
I think he turned his right ankle. Yeah, he turned his right ankle, but that's all I know.
Like you mentioned before the game about they were going to be physical.
Yeah.
It looked like they did. Did you guys feel like you guys didn't respond well to that?
We didn't respond well until the second half. I mean, they scored 50 points in the paint. They had 33 free throws. In the first half, they had 9 offensive rebounds. 9. And, we did not respond well. Our response, which, I don't like, was to go at the referees. And I personally think it doesn't matter how the game is being called. If we're locked in and we're playing like we're capable of, we don't need to rely on the officials making this call or that call. And so our focus in that area was not where it should have been.
Coach, you guys had 5 turnovers, 1 assist in the first quarter, and they were physical, as you mentioned. Did that take away your spacing, or your spacing just looked to be off in that first quarter?
Yeah, our spacing, I guess problems, in my opinion, started last night. That was one of the things that we talked about in the second half last night of our game. We didn't do a great job spacing the floor. And, you know, a lot of times when we start our cuts, the cuts would be slow. And, you know, I don't know, you know, what it was, but our guys would stop in the paint instead of making the extra effort to respace like we've been doing. And it was no different tonight. I thought our spacing wasn't good. I thought our ability to handle the basketball while getting bumped wasn't good, you know. And did it get better in the second half? Yes, it did. But again, you dig yourself a hole like that, it's going to be a long night.
When you mentioned the not giving the extra effort or not crashing the boards, do you attribute that at all to the second day of a back-to-back? I feel like they came out flat. Maybe that was
No, you know, we're a no-excuse team. And if we're a no-excuse team, we got to go play the right way as best we can and not lay the blame anyplace else except square on us. So it doesn't matter if we play 3 games in a row. We got to go figure it out. And if we can't, maybe I need to go deeper into the bench and play guys lesser minutes. You know, maybe that's where I can help them, but we can't sit here and say, well, we played last night and they did this and no, go win the game, play the right way, leave it on the floor. And if you leave it on the floor the right way, you're not going to win them all. Then you take an L, move on to the next one. I just didn't think that we did a great job doing what we're supposed to do to set the tone, especially at the beginning of the game.
Mike, kind of with that, please correct me if I'm wrong. It felt like in the first half they were able to get to Jalen's, Deuce, and Jordan on their bigger wings, on their bigger men in the post. Were you seeing like cross matches there? Was that something they were doing? Was that something just that you were talking about having to get back in transition and just man mark? Like, what did you see with some of the mismatches there that they were able to get points underneath and some of the fouls as well?
Yeah, no, that's great because some of it was in transition.
Yeah.
You know, when you play fast, that's the whole gist of playing fast. That's why we want to play fast, get the ball out quick, because what happens is teams don't have a chance to set their defense. They just have rules that they got to go by. And last night we didn't follow our rules, and that's why they get all those layups in transition. Tonight we did a better job following our rules. Give them credit with that. But what that does sometimes, it puts a small guy on a bigger guy. And we didn't, when that happened, our smaller guys did not do their work early. And what I mean by that is they let the bigger guy walk them or run them all the way down to the dots or charge line, and then we tried to start fighting. And one of our main rules is if you're guarding a bigger guy, you got to stand him up at least at the top of the key. We didn't do that. And so you got to do your work early in those situations. And then if he does catch down there, all bets are off. We got to collapse. Then we just turn and watch, catch, and shoot over the top of us. So there's some areas that we can clean up. We cleaned up them to a certain degree in transition from last night, but we could still be better. The second area is the pick and roll. We were getting cracked on the pick and roll or the DHO because we weren't up into the ball. And so our big ended up taking the ball, and they ended up rolling us to the post, and we didn't do a good job of recognizing it, trying to bump switch as they rolled the small down to the post.
Mike, you went, I think it was with Miles late and took McHale out. Was that just searching for the combination to spark something? What was your thought process there?
Yeah, it was just trying to spark something defensively, offensively. Miles, Deuce hit a couple of threes. I thought he was pretty good defensively. Same with Landry. I thought he was pretty good defensively. He hit a couple of shots, and so I was just trying to find a combination that I thought could possibly get it done on both ends. Just searching.